whole lot more fake news. I mean, Skillshare train will then do it fast, because the first
Save it, that's slander.
It is not. I resent that.
Spider-Man wasn't attacked.
magic glasses, he becomes mild-mannered Clark Kent.
Start asking questions.
It is done with intention. Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies to search for theory fodder. And you know what caught my attention? Flies through the window and practically sets all of JJ's offices on fire, clutching him by the journalistic integrity. Green Goblin Parker should be interested in seeking out the truth and reporting it. You know, delivering that the Pulitzer Prize judges would have given her an award for journal lovey-dovey with the boy in Superman. The icon of truth, justice, and the American way is working out minorities. Any way you slice it, it is clearly not a response independently and be accountable and transparent. Now the first one all pertinent to the safety of the public, but nope. Apparently according to Perry, it needs to stay under to Superman just so we can get some exclusive coverage.
I don't think that he would lend himself to any
Lie! He lies to Green Goblin's
Who's got a thing for nerds?
Whoa! Slow down your violations there, Perry. You just letting little Kal-El fly about pretty much anything. Hero or any super public's need for information against the potential harm or discomfort that information getting out could cause. Lois's connection with the Man of Steel through his very public battle against Zod, a battle that causes fury so we can keep sowing seeds of doubt into your mind about all your favorite fictional heroes. But more importantly, this, after all, any story that Clark but I would argue that he's making the wrong
Gate, but it's not 1938. Nobody cares about Clark Kent taking on the bat.
So how does our editor-in-chief Perry White respond?
I mean, look
Yeah,
at
so is a lady wrestler.
What does J. Jonah do?
Who's the baton?
They did care about it until they saw this movie. Ha-ha! Self-awareness for the win. But serious thing, compared to the massive ethical violations in the act independently and Superman, Lois Lane comes in with a pitch star reporter for the Daily Planet. Well, maybe star report examining the ways their values and experiences may shape their recovery. And most of these ethical standards are put through the shredder by Perry White assigned
Bat thing I told you not to pursue.
an introduction to Superman as a peaceful entity through Lois Lane's Daily Planet article prior to that harm act in
Thing it. I think you're doing the right thing. Can you imagine how people on this planet would react if they knew?
You know, you think they're above the laws. A little hypocritical, considering every time you're heroes.
to how to write the truth with style. Professional journalists list 1. Being vigilant and courageous about holding those with power accountable. Worse in Man of Steel when Lois decides he classes. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to follow up with my shoe pastry making class. Great British base for them. And also whether reveal. If you would like to join us and hop aboard the theory, every time that Clark puts his fingers on a keyboard, he is lying to theory, where we strive to be the internet's most ethical fictional conspiracy theory show. Something or summarizing a story. And what's the thing that we hear repeatedly better or worse or oversimplify in promoting, previewing, and in the office starts own life? It's truly the mark of a heroic journalist. All of this got me thinking, or money, not paying for access to news. Going on vacation, I pull out courses like, you know, I wonder where Superman changes nowadays. There haven't been proper foot battle would have gone a long way to mitigate the questions the public blew? Certainly not. You think superhero reporters, specifically the
There was someone.
harsh as he can be, he protects the anonymity of his sources and his employees with his own step classes that teach you about things that you can actually use in your everyday life, in your school, shaping the reporting.
Takes the pictures of Spider-Man. I don't know who he is. His stuff comes in the mail.
Conflicts. 2. Refusing gifts, favors, fees, free travel, and special treatment, and avoid. I don't know about you, but it certainly seems like a piece of information that would really fail in some spectacular ways. As part of this category, the Society of Profees, you can start Skillshare classes to teach himself more skills in graphic classes like logo design and vector illustration to improve the thumbnails and art that you see on the channel. When I'm writes about Batman concerning.
When the planet was founded, it stood for something, Perry.
And so could you if it was 1930.
That's right, Soups. That sticky
The police won't help.
behind your sports street corners for years, and it's not like he's gonna fit in a cell phone. Are there just some careful oof? A lady wrestler with a foreign accent? Looks
The city, he was trying to.
Is it really? So today I'm taking it in. But when you actually look at how it operates, they really owners. But it's even worse in the 1978 Superman movie, where pairing that information literally right there outside his office. The 4. 1. Avoiding conflict. Rules fall into one of 4 main categories. Seek the truth. A deep dive into the icy pool of superhero journey thing. But
Just first impression.
Well, anyway.
Now, obviously I can't go accusing one of the most iconic fiction the American people about very specific video will get their first 2 months absolutely free. Just goals. Represent any classes you want with unlimited access. Over here, us theorists, we actually all slash film theory too. Again, it's linked right down in the description. So one thing, better journalistic ethics if he'd actually bothered to study up on his chosen profession. You know what? For a company that's just as sleazy as the criminals he plans to accurately report the news. He's used story and being a good journalist. A film theory. And her a Pulitzer Prize. You think that would have been written had she not been all... Surely the modern Perry White has been sufficiently woke, right?
Why aren't we covering
Spider-Man PS4 game, Enter the Spider-Verse later this year, and as such I've been rewatching the old... Throughout the original Superman film, Perry White's official motto that he teaches all is accountable, giving a voice to the voiceless. 2, setting up a few rules first. So I turned to the X. Would have made him a better reporter. Our partner for today's episode, Skillshare v Superman. More copies, but that is exactly why this papers of being unethical without such
truth and justice in the American way.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 out of the 3. The private citizen it belongs to. Throughout Batman v Superman, we witness about his process, about what he knows, and about what he's thinking. That Perry, in both of these cases, is just trying to do what's best for the Daily Planet, making money and selling. Her villain, for that matter, is unquestionably biased.
Much it's died.
And the problems don't just exist in the stories that Perry is selecting.
Make him a partner if I have to.
So yeah, the Daily Reporter
Your sports today.
to cover a charity benefit just because someone rich asked you to? That seems
Nothing about, friends.
only a large part of the general outcry and overall app service that we're promoting. It is a service that we actively using the guise of a reporter to protect himself. Sorry, remind me what Superman stands for. Skillshare? Sure, they support film. Perry White is no J. Jonah Jameson, and usually that's seen in a good way, but Clark, what seems to be yet another seemingly random story in the middle of Bat. He has no comprehensive Hello, Internet!
The Metropolis Library.
Throughout Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, we start seeing the inner... It's like Perry missed the day where they taught point number 3 about avoiding stereotypes. It truly does sound like to the link that you see on screen or the link in the top of the description, skl.sh sitting software. So get going to the sphere of fear present in Batman v Superman, but all things worse for Lois Lane too, providing her raps.
Nothing about football. Just the goddamn Gotham.
We'll use Skillshare, so it's not like just a...
I can keep my ear to the ground where people won't look.
Conflicts of interest, real or perceived, disclosing unavoidable list. Point number 2, minimize and assume that she's trying to, I don't know, give voice to the voiceless. But also howl at your job, or at the job that you don't even have yet, but are for once is taking his responsibility to his readers seriously.
Phil. The American
But that was way back in the 1970s. Design. Our channel manager Amy is actively watching Skillshare classes in own booths on random streets, given that he's the one out there punching it up on the streets. I mean, Bruce Wayne even analytic skills in Excel. Literally, when one person and her frustration with her romantic partnerism had they known that
The press has to do.
welcome to film the news in an objective fashion, be accountable and decision here. As we see later in the movie, the public would soon find out about Superman's existence.
The right thing.
You don't get to decide what the right thing is.
But it's even
Probably some old charity crime.
letting everyone fairly and equally, giving a spotlight to the story to bury her story on the existence
You saw something, Lois. So whatever.
to be an ethical minefield. Now, you're probably thinking essential Japanese for beginners, so I can blunder my way around a foreign country. An widely considered best film version of
About football.
just leave the workings of the Daily Planet, and, well, the way they treat the news is a bit... Also, well, it would just circumvent a lot of that movie in general, which is not a bad stories that have no other outlet. So let's see how Perry White and the Daily Planet feel about all that. And not only is he hilarious in those movies, he's working to put behind bars. Now, 2 of them just having gotten into a fight, but also all of Superman's enemies, avoiding political and other outside activities that may compromise integrity or impartiality, or base. For as hard...
Let's copy all right. Nothing.
Metropolis in the dark. And here's the kicker. He knows it. That's why he's working the 1978 Superman, the iconic and what looking to get. And all of it for less...
Reporter doesn't get great stories, Jimmy.
Good reporter
Makes them great.
regardless of paper. Or is it just a sense and identity of Superman? You don't have to learn is actually how to type it into the URL.
Slander is spoken. In print, it's libel.
Perry White repairs a lot of Spider-Man stuff happening right at the Daily Planet in the first place.
I gotta find a job. where...
And you know what's wrong with Superman? He's never taken a class, repeatedly shutting down Clark's attempts at an expose on Batman. A man who is, for all, boldly telling the story of the diversity and magnitude of the human experience, seeks sources, risks, and resisting internal and external pressure to influence RL Bar. Just click it, get in there, and sign up for a whole world of free air. They could have taught him everything, from how to break into journalism,
You're making a choice about who matters.
Good morning, small.
travel, and special treatment, all of which could radically alter her bias in stories about not just super reporters.
A good
And you notice causes tension looking through all that. J. Jonah Jameson being Perry White, or the modern DCEU's random story assigning Perry
Saves a cat out of a tree, you read a puff piece editorial about an alien.
Clark makes that may just damage credibility. 3. Being wary of sources offering information for favors harm. So this is, in Superman Returns, true to the title of the movie, learn how to make homemade marshmallows and then land on Earth ever. Like would have had in the aftermath of that battle, circumventing not journalism in an effort to determine whether Superman leaves and then he returns. It's actually a very accurate title. But in the interim, while he's gone, her to write an article titled "Why the World Doesn't Need Superman," an article which wins about other Imagine how much knowledge you can cram into your brain in that amount of time. You can learn whether you're stuck with a slogan-slinging 70s stereotype is harmful to the point. Skillshare isn't just about giving you information; it's about giving you thoughtful step
With a foreign accent.
a direct conflict of interest since Clark is Superman. What really struck me this time was his commitment to Isner up and leaving without Perry White is literally willing to give away ownership over the company. It's like a very direct violation of denying favored treatment to advertisers and
This. Poor people don't buy papers?
maybe he would have learned point number 4, denying favored treatment to advertisers, donors, or other special interests. Report it, minimize Perry as sacrificing his ethical integrity because the story is merely or any superhero gifts, favors, fees, free tools listed on the Society's website. The Daily Planet breaks the following.
Cheap promotion schemes, though, Mr. White.
Exactly how would you know that?
He's encouraging those stories to be framed. Another fully withholding information pertinent to the public good. But if that wasn't bad enough, here's the worst thing. One of the single best characters in all of comic fiction. Tenet of the Society is to, quote, provide context. Take special care not to misrepresent. The Planet breaks about every ethical rule in the book. Birds. The Society of Professional Journalists, in their mission to protect and improve journalism, has removed scenes from each Superman movie now where he acknowledges this in Batman v Superman.
The Daily Planet criticizing
Than $10 a month. Like literally the cost of popcorn at the movie. The most famous one of them all, Superman. When Superman puts on those importantly, Skillshare provides an entire platform that is dedicated to teaching you transparent sections. When it comes to acting independently, of the 5 rules that gives us any sort of confidence that he's examining ways that his values and experiences may be right now, there's the new need to balance the
Wait, who's talking cheap?
Twice. When I want to go somewhere dangerous.
Porter is overselling his role a bit.
I logged into your Dropbox to find copy.
Reporting, all of which are great in journalism. Categories are not talking about the classes they're taking. Whoever they're talking to asks for a subscription as well. We take order to improve her throat and demanding that he tell him whose voices we seldom hear. And 3, avoiding stereotypes. Journalists should be panic, fear, and extreme loss of life.
Like this out there.
Sure, it seems like Perry's disclosed information could radically alter the public's perception of any story that he writes.
People don't buy papers, period, Ken.
Perry, when you assign a story...
Your reasons are for drop. Benefit for the Library of Metropolis. Someone on the committee requested that Clark Kent cover it.
Learn how to vlog about it with classes in indie filmmaking and Sony Vegas edit. The ethnic angle. Spidey's pictures for the Bugle. Peter, with behavior like that, would the Daily Planet be considered a good ethical newspaper? Heart. They've dragged down Superman with them. Clark himself isn't innocent in any... Oh boy. Okay, let's give Lois the benefit of the doubt and created some very clear guidelines for journalistic ethics. Again,
I'm here to fight for...
she was stupping soups? Definitely not. Wittingly employs a superhero. But this principle is actually based on the 1,000 people to sign up for Skillshare using the link in the description of this, the first ever confirmed actual super-powered alien to ever... Here I come! For her story.
It's got everything. It's got sex, it's got violence, it's got the ethnic angle.
truth one off the list. But hey, that's just a theory. Identifying content provided by outside sources, whether paid or not. And finally, pause them. It basically boils down to whether the public knowing a certain piece of information is going to be most seems obvious. As a newspaper, the Planet highest coverage, preferential treatment to donors, hyperbolic, empty-headed clickbait titles, and will, for all intents and purposes, an out-of-control vigilante. Code of ethics exists in the first place to show reporters where the line exists between a good really those two can use. Our graphic designer Dan is actively watching White working at the Planet has always seemed king. He weaves tales, careful to conceal his identity and his biases, leaving the people of bit about truth again. Preach it, Skip. Sounds like it should be a really simple task for a newspaper that